Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of NBA The Show. Today we'll be discussing why the Cavs are struggling offensively and defensively, who is the top player in each position, also who is my favorite team to win the West and the East this year. We'll also talk about Kevin Love's new role and where he needs to adjust to be successful on this new looks Cavaliers team. We also have a new segment of Overrated and Underrated, and we'll get a chance to talk to Cavaliers head coach David Blatt about the loss to the Washington Wizards the other night. Stay tuned. Are the Cavaliers struggling offensively and defensively? With having started the season 5-6, now 5-7 after losing 4 straight games in a row, the Cavaliers see themselves in the same position the Miami Heat did when they lost 8 out of their first 17 games. Currently 7th in the East, the Cavs, along with LeBron James, looks to regroup and find a way to mesh and find some chemistry with the talented trio of LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. With LeBron's departure in 2010, the Cavaliers stocked up some heavy draft picks, picking up talents such as Tristan Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Dion Waiters, Anthony Bennett, and Andrew Wiggins. However, one of only 5 can really be called successful in this NBA league, and that is Kyrie Irving. Since the arrival of LeBron James and Kevin Love, every player's numbers have gone down, even Kevin Love himself, who is putting up career lows in points per game, shots per game, rebounding, and blocks. The ball sticks in either LeBron's hands or Irving's hands. David Blatt, the head coach on this team, not LeBron. LeBron, drafted in 2003 and departed Cleveland in 2010, was always the guy who ran the ball down the court and passed the ball. Now playing with a real point guard, Kyrie Irving, LeBron needs to learn how to step back and just be a small forward. The Cavs are ranked 22nd in rebounding, and there is no reason for that. Big men Tristan Thompson and Anderson Varejao are not the biggest men in this league. They need to look for a rebounding center instead of bringing in shooters like Mike Miller and James Jones, who are averaging a total of 2.6 minutes per game combined this NBA season. The Cavs are ranked 17 in assists behind LeBron James, 6.5 assists per game, and Kyrie Irving at 4.7 assists per game. There is no other player on this Cavs team averaging more than 2 assists per game. The Cavaliers also have weak production bench in the NBA, one of the weakest. We can see why Anderson Varejao and other players like LeBron James, Shawn Marion, Tristan Thompson playing max minutes. The Cavaliers have weak bench players such as Will Cherry, Brendan Haywood, Mike Miller, Lou Amundsen, Alex Kirk, James Jones, and Joe Harris, who all get little to no minutes. This is why the Cleveland Cavaliers are struggling offensively and defensively. Now we'll talk about my top players in each position. Start at the point guard is Chris Paul at 18.9 points per game and 10.6 assists per game. He is putting up a high point per game and assists per game averages at 35.1 minutes per game, shooting 47% from the field and 37% from behind the arc and just 2.2 turnovers a game. We can see why Chris Paul is one of the best point guards in the league and why I chose him at my point guard position. Now to the shooting guard position. Kobe Bryant, yes, he is putting up amazing numbers at 22.9 points per game this season. Actually, it's a little more than that right now, but 33 minutes a game coming back from an injury. His shooting is not there yet, about 38% from the field, 28% from behind the arc, still an 80% free throw shooter. 4.8 assists per game and about 3.9 turnovers per game and about 5 rebounds per game. Kobe Bryant is having a solid year beside his shooting. Coming in at the small forward position, LeBron James, you love him, you hate him, it doesn't matter. Being a Miami Heat fan, still know that he is the best player in the league, averaging 27 points per game, playing 37.8 minutes per game, already complaining that he's playing too much minutes to Coach Blatt. 17.8 field goals per game, 55% shooting, and behind the arc, LeBron James is a lethal shooter. With 6.9 rebounds per game and 6.4 assists per game. At being 6'8", LeBron James can play any position. However, I feel that he should stay at the small forward position and stop trying to play Kyrie Irving's role at the point guard position. However, he is the best small forward in the NBA. Kind of a surprise to everybody the last few seasons. The brow is back. Anthony Davis, the best power forward in this league, averaging 21.4 points per game, shooting amazing 52% from the field, 10.2 rebounds per game, and 3 blocks per game. We can see why Anthony Davis is the best power forward. I even feel like he could play center. He just needs to beef up a little, but he is a very long, talented player. The center position, which will be a surprise to a lot of you, I chose DeMarcus Cousins. 22.7 points per game, 11.7 rebounds per game. This guy is a rebounding machine. Only 1.3 blocks, 1.5 steals in 32 minutes of action, putting up 16.7 shots per game and shooting roughly 50% from the field. His free throws are up from last year, which is a little bit of improvement. But this guy is a rebounding machine. I see him play all the time. Him and Rudy Gay meshed perfectly, and this is why I chose DeMarcus Cousins over Dwight Howard or possibly Joakim Noah. Now let's talk about my favorite team in the East and the West, who I feel are going to this conference finals, well, actually winning the conference finals. In the East, a big surprise, the Washington Wizards have a great backcourt of John Wall and Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is back from his wrist injury. Paul Pierce bringing in his veteran experience to help out this young team coming from the Brooklyn Nets. Marcin Gortat, Nene, Kevin Serafin are great defensive big men. John Wall this year is putting up 19.5 points per game, 9.1 assists per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, and 2.5 steals a game. That is solid numbers. Bradley Beal is back, like I said, and in 2 games is averaging 16.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Once Bradley Beal is fully healthy, I can see him scoring 20 points per game and 5 rebounds and 5 assists per game. The Wizards have great chemistry, smart passing, driving the lane, great rebounding, and not many turnovers. Paul Pierce is 37 years of age and is still pretty good, but in an all-time low in every category. Down to a career low, 27 minutes per game, and career low in shooting. Paul Pierce is still a great rebounder and facilitator at his age. Taking 10 shots a game and racking up roughly 12 points a game. He doesn't really need to do much because he has a backcourt of John Wall, Bradley Beal, and these guys are lethal shooters. I personally don't feel that he needs to do any more than what he is already doing as being a facilitator and a rebounder. Looking at the numbers on this team offensively, it's not there. But when it comes to defense, this is where the Wizards excel. Nene this year is only shooting 46%, averaging 11.5 points per game and 11 shots attempted per game. With numbers like 5.2 rebounds per game and 2.8 assists, we see why Nene is not an all-star. In 2011 and 2012, Marcin Gortat, best year as a center for the Phoenix Suns after the departure of Amari Stoudemire to the New York Knicks. Now a Wizard, Gortat dropped in his points production. However, his rebounding numbers are there at 12.8 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game. It is easy to say that Gortat is definitely a top 30 center in this league. If Derrick Rose was 100% and Paul Gasol was 100% and Gibson didn't get injured, I would definitely choose the Bulls over the Wizards. However, that is not the case, and we are talking about as of right now in the NBA season. For the West, I chose the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers. It was very hard to choose, so I will discuss both of them and why I feel they're both pretty much in the same league as one another. The Warriors, as of November 22nd, are 9-2 in this season, and the Trailblazers are 9-3. Portland being on a 6-game winning streak, and the Warriors on a 4-game winning streak. The Warriors were the best team record in the West until 2 straight losses. Warriors came up short against the Phoenix Suns and championship San Antonio Spurs. This Warriors team is loaded with young offense and defensive minded players and has one of the best point guards and shooting guards in the game on this team. A backcourt, the Splash Brothers, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, stack up to amazing backcourts like Wall and Beal. They also have great veteran leadership behind Andre Iguodala, who's not only the offensive threat, but a great defensive player as well. Veteran leadership from Leonardo Barbosa, Andrew Bogut, David Lee, Maurice Spates are a great help to young players like Draymond Green, Justin Holiday, Harrison Barnes. Stephen Curry is one of the best point guards in the league, probably, I would say, the second best, according to his numbers. Being in his 6th year in the NBA, Steph Curry is not at his prime and is already putting up record-breaking numbers. Curry averaging 23.3 points per game and playing 4 minutes less this year than his last year. Averaging 8 assists per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, and 2.3 steals. We can easily see why he is the second best point guard in the league behind Chris Paul. Let's not forget, he's shooting 95% from the free throw line. Not only do they have an insanely high-scoring point guard, they also have a high-scoring shooting guard who's averaging 22.6 points per game, and I feel is one of the best shooting guards in this league. Only 3 rebounds and 3 assists. However, at his size, he should be averaging more rebounds a game, but it is early in the season. Draymond Green is growing up, putting up career high in points, rebounds, and assists this year. Harrison Barnes is also shooting 52% this year from the field and 44% from the three-point line, which is amazing, and an average 12.12 points per game, right behind Draymond Green's 12.7 points per game. Players like Andrew Bogut, Andre Iguodala, and David Lee numbers are not what they used to be. They're getting less touches and playing less minutes. The only issue with the Warriors this year is turnovers. Warriors are 2nd in points per game, 6th in rebounding, and 2nd in assists. This is why I chose the Warriors. As for the Portland Trailblazers, starting off a little rough, now strong and steady behind some amazing players and talent. Damian Lillard, just like Wall and Curry, is one of the top point guards. LaMarcus Aldridge is also a top power forward in this league with some amazing talent like Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, Anthony Davis, and Dirk Nowitzki. The Trailblazers have some amazing role players like Wesley Matthews, Robin Lopez, Nicholas Batum, Chris Kaman, and Darrell Wright. LaMarcus Aldridge is leading the Trailblazers in points per game at 21.4 points per game and 8 rebounds per game. Aldridge, who is down in points per game, rebounds, assists per game, is still putting up some amazing numbers despite playing 2 less minutes per game. In his 3rd year, Damian Lillard has proven why he is an elite point guard in this league, starting every game in his career and never missing a game. Now down from his previous years, only playing 34 minutes a game. Lillard is only taking 14 shots per game and averaging 20.9 points per game. At career numbers in assists and rebounds per game at 6.8 assists per game and 5.2 rebounds per game, there's no reasons why Lillard should not easily make the All-Star team this year. Wesley Matthews, being one of the best shooting guards in the league that we have, is putting up 15.8 points per game, 4 rebounds a game, and almost 3 assists per game. Amazing numbers for him. Robin Lopez, who is also shaping up to be just like his brother Brook, who is now putting up 11.8 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. Issues I have on this team is with Darrell Wright production, who fell out of the lineup along with Thomas Robinson, who I feel both could be a threat offensively. They just need to get minutes. Kevin Love's production down as a teammate of LeBron James. Last season, Kevin Love averages 26.1 points per game and shooting over 18 shots per game and shooting 45% from the field. This season, he has now dropped down to 15.9 points per game on just under 13 shots per game and shooting a career low 39% from the field. He's playing the same amount of minutes but is taking fewer shots due to LeBron and Kyrie having the ball in their hands most of the time. Where in Minnesota, he was the main man, would always have the ball in his hands down low in the painted areas. As of right now, 44% of the shots he is taking are from behind the arc. Yes, he's a great three-point shooter, but this is not what the Cavs need from him. They need a winged shooter. It's not that Kevin Love needs to produce more points and shoot more. It's the fact that he needs to take better shots. Kevin Love is in the same position as Chris Bosh was when LeBron and Bosh met in Miami to play on Wade's team. Chris Bosh went from a one-man show in Toronto to a third wheel in Miami, and it's the same for Kevin Love, who was the main man in Minnesota. Bosh was averaging 24 points per game and 16.5 shots per game on his last season as a Toronto Raptor. He averaged over his 4-year stint with LeBron James, 17.5 points per game and 13.1 shots per game. This being said, Kevin Love will also adjust once he feels comfortable and his teammates trust him. We got a chance to speak with an expert from the starters on NBA TV, Taz Mellis. And I asked him, Taz, do you feel that Kevin Love is unhappy with his new role on this Cavaliers team? He responded with, it takes time calling him happy or unhappy in November. It doesn't really matter at this moment. Thanks for the advice, Taz. We got a chance to speak with Coach David Blatt and ask him a few questions after the loss to the Washington Wizards Friday night, November 21st, 2014. How do you feel about this Cavs team coming off the loss?
Really need to sit down and look at it and think about it before I come out here and make grandiose statements, to be honest with you. Obviously, right now we're struggling and we're a little bit in the dark, and we got to find our way out.
What is causing so many turnovers for this Cavaliers team?
Irresponsible play with the ball and bad decisions with the ball, because I can think off the top of my head of 5 or 6 clear break situations where we don't finish with a shot, and that is just not high-level basketball.
How do you feel about the 50-50 balls?
There's a lot of balls on the floor that, especially when you're struggling, I don't want to say you got to kill yourself, but you have to do whatever it takes to get balls like that to gain a little bit of ground, and we did not.
How do you feel about LeBron James getting frustrated and not getting back on defense, leaving a 5-on-4 fast break?
I don't think LeBron was the problem of our defense tonight at all, and honestly, generally speaking, if you hold a team 91 points away, you got a chance to win. We just played poorly on offense again.
How do you guys plan on regrouping after this loss?
Well, first thing is guys got to take a good look in the mirror and ask themselves where and how they can impact positively. Got to try to simplify things. Got to look to see if you can make a change or two, but not recreate the wheel. And you got to stay in there and show grit, and get a good day. Gain a meter, I used to say, or gain a yard in this neck of the woods. Gain a yard at a time, and that's what we need to do.
How do you feel about giving up all those jump shots to John Wall?
Very good player, and he, he made the plays that he had to make. We sort of, at least part of the time, got him doing what we wanted him to do, but he made the plays. Those are the percentages that you play sometime. Obviously you have to adjust when you see him doing it. And we could have and should have maybe a little bit quicker. But he made plays.
Hello everybody, and welcome to our brand new segment of Overrated or Not, where we will be talking about 5 NBA players today, and we'll discuss if they are overrated or not. Coming in top on my list is Lance Stephenson. I feel that he is overrated. After leaving the Indiana Pacers with his antics and silly shenanigans, Lance Stephenson decided to take his talents to the New Orleans Hornets, where he is putting career low numbers in points per game at 9.6 points per game. Yes, he is getting almost 9 rebounds per game and dishing out almost 5 assists per game. However, shooting 37% from the field and 26% from behind the arc. I feel that he is overrated. Not one of the best shooting guards. I can name 10 other shooting guards putting up better numbers than Lance Stephenson. Let's go to the next person. Next on my list is Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs, who wants a lot of money. But Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan are all better players than Leonard. Leonard, who is averaging only 12.8 points per game, shooting 43% from the field and 23% from behind the arc. Yes, he gets 7.9 rebounds per game, which is good, and 2.5 assists, which is Coming in on my list, Leonard is overrated. So far, we already had 2 players who were overrated. Let's see where this third player comes along. Kyle Korver of the Atlanta Hawks, we know, is the best three-point shooter in the NBA, scoring just 13.7 points per game, 4 rebounds a game, 3 assists, 47 from a 2-point shot, and 56% behind the 3-point line, and is also amazing 92% free throw shooter. And he comes on my list as underrated. Kyle Korver is underrated as a player. Can only shoot the 3, can shoot the 2, and is a great free throw shooter. On to the next. So we had 2 overrated and 1 underrated. Let's see where DeAndre Jordan comes on this list. At 8.4 points per game, which isn't big at all, but 12.3 rebounds per game is one of the best in the league. Field goal shooting all-time high at 73% and is averaging 2.7 blocks per game. And this is why DeAndre Jordan is underrated to me. He is the best defensive center in the NBA. 2 overrated, 2 underrated, and we got 1 player left. Last but not least is Al Jefferson, shooting great numbers. 48% is great, but it's not amazing. But 20.7 points per game is the 3rd highest producing scoring big man in this game. 6.8 rebounds per game are weak, and 1.9 assists is pretty good for a center. And this is a hard choice, but he is not talked about, never an all-star, and this is why he is underrated. Thank you guys for checking out this new segment of Overrated or Underrated. My name is Justin Zumoff, and I'm your host, and thank you for watching this brand new episode of NBA The Show. Signing out from South Florida. Take care, guys.